It is a hot and humid afternoon here in Tennessee. It's 10 till 8 and it's 92 degrees and the humidity is just off the charts. Terrible out here. But we got some work to do, so let's get it done here. And I got to take the bucket off the tractor. I want to show you guys the area we're at right now at the property, because this is where the pole barn is going to be built, hopefully next month. Hopefully sooner, but hopefully started at least by the 1st of August. Take the camera down here to show you guys this area and what I got in mind. So right back here is the property line. You can see an old fence that borders the farm right behind us. They got a hay field over there and there's several ponds. But we had a swimming pool put in a few months ago and I had a lot of extra dirt left over, and that dirt is what I filled in back here. Right there you see all the logs that I've accumulated before and after we moved here. And right here behind them where I'm standing was actually just a big hole. And I was able to fill all this in with that dirt we got from the swimming pool. So my plan is to move these logs out of the way. I got some white oak right there. This one have to go. And all that right there is awesome black walnut. So once this stuff is out of the way, this area right here will be where the barn goes. I'll probably have to come back here on the fence line and cut back a lot of this growth as well. I've also got to cut this thing down, and I have no idea what that is. There's like a broken tree inside of it that's dead, and there's no limbs coming off of it, and there's all these vines in different directions coming off of it, and you got the power lines right there above it, which makes it just lovely. I'm thinking about putting my grapple on and just driving and pushing it over. So as you walk back out, you can see where the tractor is. I'm going to take my bucket off here in just a second and put the pallet forks on. But this is the area where the barn's going to be. Pretty much right here to this front corner, all the way back and over. Just this area right in here, if that makes any sense to you. So it should be a pretty good place for the barn. I'm going to put the tractors in there, the Mahindra and the New Holland and all the attachments, and I'll probably use it also to stack some lumber in for drying. And I talked to the power company, and there's a pole right there with the transformer on it, so there should be no trouble with getting power to it whenever I get to that step one day. The main thing is just getting it built under roof and getting these tractors stored in the drive. Right now I got them in the garage at the house, and that's really just getting aggravating pulling them in and out. And in relationship to the rest of our property here, from where the barn is, right up there you got our house. Of course the sawmill building and the shop is on the other side of the house. A real nice little sunset going on back there in the background. That's pretty neat. Hope that comes through the camera or not. So there's the logs. That's the road that we drive in to get to the logs. That's a bunch. Those logs over there are that's a totally different group of logs over there. That's a whole video in itself. We'll talk about those later. But over here is where I keep all of my logs that belong to me in this corner of the property back here. I'm gonna get the dirt off that trailer right there and get it cleaned up. That's some of the dirt left over from the pool. But anyways, that's our plans. Get those two groups of walnuts sawed up. Probably won't just move them, probably just take them straight to the mill and start sawing. And right there will be our pole barn. Now let's get this bucket off and put the pallet forks on. Go over here and grab this butternut and take it up to the mill. It is hot out here. Hot and muggy. All right, guys, real quick here before we cut this butternut up and talk about it. I'd like to say a thank you to Sawmill for sponsoring this video. They make these chainsaw scabbards that you mount to your tractor, your ATV, your all-terrain vehicles. And I've had mine for several months and it works really well. It's a really nice fit on there. This chainsaw has never fallen off. This is a real nice one. And I actually had Kenny, the owner, the one he sent me, I had him cut the bottom of it because I use a longer saw than most people do. I use a 32-inch bar on this 461. If you guys are interested in saw haul, there's a link down below to these right here, and they fit about every tractor there is. And there's a promo code. If you use the code OTW, you get 5% off when you order one of these. So go check those guys out when you have time if you got a tractor and you need somewhere to put your chainsaw. Moving on, here's the butternut, right where we left it about 2 weeks ago when we pulled it off Curtis's trailer. Screw out the chain on it actually. Per his specifications, he wants me to make this an 8-footer and a 6-footer. So we'll go ahead and mark those lengths and cut this up and take it up to the mill. And as soon as these 2 butternuts are done, we're moving on to this big guy right here. Look at the size of this one. This is another monster black walnut. Came from that tree that we just sawed up in the last video series. This is the second cut. Right there, we're at about, I think 31 inches right there on that diameter. And halfway up it, we got a limb, so there should be some nice crotch figure in there. That's coming up after the butternut's over with. So we got a lot going on here. Got the barn going on, got the butternut, the big walnut coming up after that, and right behind me, look at all this stuff. A sea of timber right there. We got red oak, white oak, poplar. There's some maple in there. And on the back side, we have yellow pine and white pine. I think there's about 38 logs here total. A lot of interesting stuff in here. This is coming up very soon, guys. There's a lot of sawing right here.